You're listening to Let's Talk with Jason B., coming from the greatest city on earth, Flint, Michigan. Broadcasting from the studios of FlintTalkRadio.com. And now, your host, Jason B.
Hi, everyone. How's everybody doing today? This is a special episode. We are going to talk about the awesome State of the Union. Holla! Not only that, I think we're going to, believe it or not, today's Wednesday. Wednesday, January 28th, I want to say. Is that right? Let me check. 29th. Okay, well, and we are going to January 29th. And how many days of school have your kids had? 4, 5 days this whole month? Doesn't seem like a lot, does it? My gosh. I'm telling you, our kids are getting dumber and dumber and dumber. Every day they miss school. But that's okay because, back in the day, I remember it used to snow a lot. Not as much as it is now, but I remember when I was, 8, 9, even 10 years old, a wee little lad, I would walk, literally, I'm not making this up, I would walk like 5 miles to school, up hills, both ways. And snow was up to my chest. But I still trudged along, and look at me now. Isn't that awesome? Now, these kids nowadays, I don't know. And
the thing is, it's not the kids' fault. It's the administrators and to some degree the parents. I saw some guy who wasn't a parent on Facebook posting, whining, in my opinion, about how cold it was.
Yes.
It's like, the last I knew, don't they hold school inside of a building?
Exactly. Oh, and people, I'm telling you, I heard people were like, I posted something on Facebook, and if we're not Facebook friends, let's become friends soon, guys, because I like my friends. I actually lost a couple the other day, but no one ever tells me. Facebook doesn't tell me what they are. But anyways, Facebook friends, I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, and they were talking about how it's like, it's like minus 30 with the wind chill, and the buses don't start, and the kids have to walk to the bus stop and wait for the buses, and this and that and that. And, well, listen. Would you rather have your kid, drive your kids to school, okay? And don't tell me that you can't drive them to school, because if you can't drive your kids to school, then that means that, who's going to watch them, right? Because if they don't have school, who's going to watch them? I'm not going to watch, because you're going to have to take your days off work to watch your kids, call in sick or whatever, and it's just not cool, I just don't like I just don't like it, but that's just me. So I don't have kids. So I don't know exactly how things work. But with children, I don't know if it's like some program
I found out something a few months ago that kids, you got to feed every day.
What?
You got to feed kids every day.
What?
Yeah, you got to.
Are you serious?
You can't leave them at home by themselves.
No.
Isn't that crazy, man?
Is it like a dog or something?
Well, dogs are actually. My dog's home by herself right now. She's limited to where she can get. I close her up in a room, but she's.
Or a cat.
Cats are like independent. Cats don't really need human except to change their litter box and put the food down.
Yeah. Our kids are. Here's a question. Are kids like cats?
No, I think they're more like. Actually, they're more. They're not as independent as a dog. A dog's more independent than a kid.
Well, it depends on how old kids are.
Yeah, that's true too. But then again, when they get old enough, you might get in trouble. But when they get in trouble, when they get older, it means you have to go to a court, sit through the court system.
Oh,
and
wow!
They might be tried as an adult.
I don't know what kind of trouble you're talking about.
I was a probation caseworker for 9 years.
Oh my gosh! Everybody, that's John, my producer. Say hi, John.
Hi, John.
Cha-cha. I got to look up one of them rim shots to play. That's clever. Anyways, yeah, are kids like cats? No, that's obviously they are not. But you're talking to two guys here that have no kids. So if you wanted to call in and tell me how wrong I am and stupid, the number is 810-208-1854. That's 810-208-1854. Let me know what you think, because I think if we are too. One of my friends was talking to me. He's like, should we be overprotective or underprotective? And I said, and I was thinking about that. I said, well, I think underprotective, because there comes a point. I mean, overprotective when they're super young, I mean, you're talking 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. But once they reach 15, 16, 17, I think they need to start making their own choices. They need to start dealing with their own consequences. And because I remember that one, was it the new Batman movie? Not the new one, the old one, the first one, the Batman Begins. No, not Batman Begins. What's the first one with Christian Bale?
And that one I don't know, because I kind of like I was watching it back when Michael Keaton was doing it, and then there's
no, that's too old. That's too old. No, okay. Well, let me just say, whatever. That's not the point. The point is, my first I remember the guy said, who is it? The one guy, the dad. I remember the dad said, "Oh, hello. It's not. What do? We pick ourselves. What do we do when we fall down? We pick ourselves up." And if you don't ever let your kids fall down, they ain't never going to be able to pick themselves up. And they're going to have things handed to them over and over and over. All right, we've got a caller. You're on Let's Talk with Jason B. Who am I talking to?
You are talking to Jason McLaughlin. What's up, man?
Holla, Jason McLaughlin. Hey, that's a great name, by the way. I like that, Jason.
It is. It's the name of legends.
Agreed.
Well, hey, I'm just calling to tell you how wrong and stupid you are. Just kidding.
Yes! Woo! First caller. Hello. So, hey, but by the way,
I did find it interesting that we had the day off today, though. I'm a teacher, by the way, for those of you that don't know. Mm-hmm. This is our seventh snow day.
Can I ask you what?
Crazy, been a weird winter.
What grade do you teach?
I'm doing special ed, elementary, so I teach the young lads.
That's nice. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. You called. I want to talk to you. Talk to me. Go.
All right. Well, from the way I understand it with the school closings, I guess it is negative 20 is kind of like the point where, like, we almost have to call it off. Mm-hmm. And that's with wind chill, of course.
Of course.
The way I kind of understand things, really the last week we've been about right there. Obviously yesterday was there, well below that. So kind of from what I've had explained is that we have to call off almost by law. I don't know what trouble the districts could get into, but it's kind of interesting. So
yeah, really, I did not. I was unaware that there was a law about that. That's strange.
I think it's kind of different by county too, because I don't know how the schools like in Alaska or in northern Michigan up in the UP and all that would be able to do it. Mm-hmm. And I've heard they have different temperatures, so it's kind of weird.
Now,
I don't know.
Can I ask you? Have you also heard that? Because I just read this, I think in the newspaper or mlive.com, where there's a new system. You don't make up the days, but they add like 10 minutes or 5 minutes to each school day instead of like full days. Do you know what I'm saying? Have you heard about that? Or
Yeah, I've heard about that. Been doing that in the past, but I've heard they've also changed it this last year. Okay. It's hard to find out sometimes though what the laws are. I've heard that's something that we do in the past, but now I've heard you actually have to add days.
Oh, stupid
So,
laws. Okay.
I guess across the state it's 6, snow days or cold days or whatever you want to call them. And then after that, you have to kind of make them up.
Oh dear.
But the governor can kind of overturn that and say, well, it's been a crazy winter. We'll give you a couple of grace days or whatever.
It has been the crazy. I just heard that we have the most. Michigan has had the most snowfall of any state in the United States of America, including Alaska and Hawaii. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Hawaii. What?
That's crazy. I mean, it's been an interesting winter, but yeah, I can see the other side where it's like they wouldn't cancel for anything. When I was a kid, it seemed like. But at the same time, I don't think we've had a winter like this ever since I've been here, and I've lived here for 20 years. So
wow. Well,
I don't know.
So I appreciate you calling and talking. And how have you? I mean, can I ask the questions? Like being a teacher, are you still getting paid these days, or do you have to this back pay, or what's going on there?
No, we're kind of paid throughout the year, at least at the district I work at.
Okay.
It's 26 biweekly paychecks throughout the year. So
okay.
So we're kind of getting that regardless. But if we have to work extra days, obviously we have to work extra days. But it's just kind of an annual salary for me, at least.
Okay.
So,
hey, you know what I just saw? There was a recipe for now, because we're friends, right? We've actually hung out before and stuff. So, and you like Saganos, right?
Of course.
Who
doesn't?
I just saw a link a friend of mine posted for the Yum Yum sauce. I'll be sure to send it to you. So like how to do it and stuff. So anyways, that's side note. I appreciate you calling, man, and I hope
that was good.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy the show, and let's get together sometime and hang out or something. So
all right, sounds like a plan, my friend.
Hey, thanks for calling.
All right, yep, take it easy.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Excellent. That was great. He's a good guy. I like him. Jason McLaughlin, if you aren't friends... Oh, by the way, ladies, he is single. Ow! Wink, wink. You're welcome. No. And I hope he didn't see that, but he probably did. So I'm probably in trouble. But that's okay. Anyways. Oh, man. I forgot to talk about. Does anybody else like Saganos? Have you ever been there, John?
Actually, I did. I haven't been there, but I mean, in a long time. But I liked it. I mean, I was there one time. A little expensive, but the food it was stellar. I mean, stellar.
I think at one point you're paying for the entertainment, and he's very entertaining. The guys who do that, the stuff. But I'm telling you, every time I see that, I'm like, I could do that. I could totally do that. But we'll see.
But the first place I ever went to that had sushi was down in Chicago. One of a couple of my friends, and they were regulars at this place. And it's a Japanese bistro. It was in the middle of Chicago somewhere, or bistro or whatever there was. And they beat sushi. And then it was like only in America though. It was a Japanese restaurant. And he had a Mexican sushi chef. So I said, how often does that happen in Japan? I mean, that was really cool. But it was excellent food, though. He obviously was trained very well in what he did. He was just it was like almost a religious experience first time. We had sake with it, and it was really good. And
I hate sushi, but that's just me.
You hate sushi?
Correct. If I wanted raw
sashimi or any other stuff,
all of it, John, all of it. Just straight across the board. Sushi, bleh, give me steak and potatoes any day,
He's an American, folks.
I'm American.
Well, actually, your last name was what? Well, you're actually
Finnish.
Finnish, yeah.
Holla, yeah. So
and the Finnish are, I don't know what kind of cooking they do, because, I mean, the Hungarians are related to them, through, like, the tribes.
I know Hungarians, too, yeah.
They cook a lot. And the Hungarians are good cooks. My mom was Hungarian, so.
Yeah, well,
I guess I'm part Hungarian, so.
Anyways, back to the thing. Boy, real quick about the weather, and this is the last thing I'm going to talk about with the weather and the schools and stuff, and then we'll move on to our next thing. Atlanta, holy smokes. I mean, that's the big thing nowadays, right? Atlanta, Georgia, that's being the huge thing where everybody, apparently somebody or a lot of people really botched up on that whole thing because from a friend of mine, first-hand experience, she told me, who lives in Atlanta, runs a coffee shop, she told me that people, they all left they all got out of work at the same time during the storm, and there's kids that got stuck at school because the buses couldn't get them, or the Atlanta mayor and the mayor of Georgia has completely underestimated the powerful weather that has affected them. It is very embarrassing, and I think heads should roll for that. I don't know who, but I hope somebody is being held accountable for such.
In their defense, though, I mean, there's only so much.
There are no defenses here.
But no, in any municipality, if you don't have the trucks or the vehicles that are outfitted for the bad weather itself, and also for like pouring on salt or de-icing agents or whatever, then it's not something in their budget. Mm-hmm. It happens so infrequently. It's happened so frequently.
But they know, though. They knew it was coming, so why did they not prepare? It's better to... What is the old saying? It's better to be safe than sorry, right? So, obviously they were safe, or they were sorry, not safe, but that's their fault.
You know what other countries do? Is like... I've talked to people in the Philippines, and they're after, the typhoons that hit there, and, earthquakes, whatever. Even though we complain about our government, and I complain big about our government, we do have more things in place than a huge number of other countries around the world. We have more response teams. We have more ability to drop things into our people who are who have been stranded or whatever. We do have those in place far more than probably any other country around us. So, even despite the fact there's some serious gaps, I think we do pretty well.
John, can you throw up a couple of those pictures that I had? These are a couple pictures from Atlanta that I saw, if you don't mind. Okay, there's one right there. Yeah, that's a nice one. These are, and I just sent you another. Oh, I just sent you another one too. So double check on that.
Well, it's kind of hard for me to get on there and do this when the show's going up, though.
Okay, so come on, John. Jeez. No, I'm kidding. I'm just saying these are a couple pictures that show you the dramatic impact that those cars, people were stranded on the highway for hours and hours and hours, and they just left their car. I don't know if I'd ever leave my car. I suppose I would, but that's just. It's a new car. It depends on what kind of car I had, and it depends on what was in my car, and a lot of variables happen. And it depends, could I get my car back afterwards? That's the thing. So, but it was like something from the zombie movies or something, where it's just stranded.
I called a friend of mine. She lives in Alabama, and she picked up the phone and said, "Hey, I'll get right back to you." And then about 10 minutes later, I got a text from her. She goes, "Well, I can't talk right now." She had two brothers stranded on different sides of Birmingham, Alabama, and she goes, "The roads are really, fouled up." And she said, and she was like, "Down there, this is a rarity. What we got on the ice, out there on the street just outside the studio." That'd blow their mind to see that.
Yeah, that happens all the time. It's not a big deal. But and I was telling people, I was like, make sure you know what year, whatever. But people that were from Michigan to move down to Georgia and the South, I'm like, you know what? You're from Michigan. Show these people how to drive. I was gonna say bums, but I said people. Show these people how to drive. And, I don't know, but the other big thing, huge thing that's been going on, I don't know if you knew about this, but there was a certain State of the Union address. Holla, did anybody see that? I thought it was. I did not watch it. Did you watch it, John? No, I did not watch it. Because I'll tell you this. And listen, I don't watch. I don't care who's president. I don't care which party he's from. Whether it's Democrats, Republicans, Green Party, Independent, I don't care, because they're all stupid, because they're all rah, 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 rah. They're all cheerleading is what it is. And I think that's just, it just didn't make any sense to me to waste a whole hour doing nothing. Instead, I did taxes. Holla! Oh, I hate taxes. It's coming up, though. It's coming up. I gotta find a way to get around. Am I the only one that tries to get as much back as I can? Is that just me? I'm not saying I cook the books or anything, because I'm not that smart to do that, guys. I don't cook the books. Don't kid yourself. I might hire someone next year to do it, but I don't do it. But no, I taxes, ugh, whatever. You got to do it, though. My grandma used to say, it's an old adage, my grandma used to say, there's only two things you have to do in life: pay taxes and die. And I think that's pretty much true. So, but anyways, there were a lot of things. It was pretty positive. I thought it was interesting. I did not care for it. He did not really, from what I've read and from what I saw, little clips or whatever, he didn't really, he really played to his base, obviously. And I was like, ugh, but it was not, I'm just not a big fan of that. It was interesting because this is what, and I'm quoting him here, he said, "Today, after 4 years of economic growth, corporate profits and stock prices have rarely been higher, and those at the top have never done better. But average wages have barely budged. Inequality has deepened, and upward mobility has stalled." That's a quote from his thing. I'm not going to say, and I'm no economist here, but people were saying that, he just likes to really play to the income inequality. And I, for one, think if you work hard and you really put your mind to it and the pedal to the metal and you're making money, then you should have, whether you are man, woman, black, white, gay, or not gay, you should have the opportunity to move forward and progress in your job field or make more money in your paycheck, because that's what America's about, isn't it? It is about the land of, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's not the land of opportunity anymore, but I remember my grandma used to tell me way back in the, my grandma of my great-grandma used to say that when she came here from Finland, up to the UP and stuff, her and her dad, her and her husband, my great-grandpa, they worked hard to make a living, and they worked hard to put food on the table and clothes on the back of all 10 of their kids or whatever, And I think nowadays we don't have that work ethic anymore, because I feel like, and I believe it's twofold. I think it's technology that has played a part in it, because we want our iPhones to do this, or we want our, computers to do that or whatever. And we want them to do the work for us, and I think that's dumb. But I also think it's government that is handing out welfare checks. And I know, listen, I know people that have welfare checks, okay? I know people that have been on welfare checks. And I'm not saying welfare checks are wrong. What I'm saying is that they need to be a transitional living, because I think people that have been on it for over a year or over 2 years, I think that's a little ridiculous. They are living off of you and me, off of our tax-paying dollars.
But I'm going to interject here. Sorry, but you know what? Obama talks about how the rest of the country is not doing well, and this has shrunk and this has shrunk. It's like I don't know why people don't think to ask, why does this inequity exist? And they always point, well, they take all their tax breaks. Who creates the tax code? This is the very same people who are always pointing at the rich, saying, look what they're getting away with. I mean, Barney Frank did that a few years ago. Talked about how people are, getting away with the tax code. They're using the tax code to their advantage, using the loopholes. And this is the SOB. Excuse my expression, but this is totally on myself. It's not on Jason. But these are the people that write the damn laws, and and then they're going off about the inequity they're creating, and they want you to be angry at the guy who's making the money.
Cool your jets. Cool your jets. Cool.
Well, not mad. I think it's just emphasis. I mean, they're the ones that write the tax code.
Well, and I mean,
and Obama, he starts out with nothing, is worth $15 million. Why does he start writing checks to groups that he thinks have a good cause?
Suspicious, nonetheless.
Yeah, how do you get $15 million essentially overnight? How do you do that? I mean, my grandparents, everybody else I knew, when they worked at jobs where they had to pay out payroll and pay all the bills, they took their 2 or 3 generations of work to get a nest egg saved up of not even half that. And these people walk into White House worth 20, 30, 40 million, 100 million. I mean, 50% of our senators are multimillionaires.
Actually, a lot of them are.
50%. 50% of our senators are multimillionaires.
Because I'll tell you this, there's no accountability whatsoever in Congress. Whether you're a House of Representative, whether you're a senator, there's no accountability. And which is, John, I just thought of this. I should forget this, forget the whole radio show and go into politics. Hey,
well, you got to look. I mean, you grew up in the burbs,
I don't because then I would be part of the problem.
Yeah, the thing is, then you could capitalize it, and you get the hell out of here. Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah. No, let's face it. You could buy your own island. I mean, Kanye West wants to buy his own island and get away from racist America. You want to get away from tax America.
There you go. I don't think, even if I did buy my own island, I think the IRS is totally...
Do you know the United States is one of the countries that actually insists that people who are citizens but no longer living in the country still have to pay taxes to the United States? Mm-hmm. Basically, you got to make sure that slave is still sending their tribute,
Oh, taxes. I tell you, this is what I've said before, and I'll say it again. Listen to me. Oh, sorry, guys. Listen to me, America. Listen to me good. Do not mess with the IRS. I made that up myself. I'm going to have to trademark that.
I can see T-shirts, man.
Yeah. Don't mess with the IRS. Because that's all these people do, is they sit there and they crunch the numbers, and it's like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Don't mess with the IRS. Hands down.
Mr. Moss,
let it go.
Mr. Moss, who does the show here on Mondays, what's going on? He's been audited twice. 2 years, sequentially, by the IRS.
Yeah.
And each time he comes out smelling, because he overpays.
Oh.
He overpays. He doesn't take the deductions he could, and then when they look into it, they have to start writing him a check. Ooh, that angers them. But when they've been up your bum a couple of times, you get really cautious, and you start, you're willing to sacrifice some extra money to keep them guys away from you.
Here's another thing, and to get back to what we were talking about, it says Obama, for the State of the Union, the other day. He said, we will need Congress to protect more than 3 million jobs by finishing transportation and waterways bills this summer. And he's like, but I will act on my own to slash bureaucracy and streamline the permitting progress for key projects so we can get more construction workers on the job as fast as possible. Now, the 3 million jobs sounds great, but you know what the problem is? It's not Congress that's holding up the stuff. It is the lack of money, people. We don't have the money to do this. And I don't understand. And here is and then, oh my gosh. And then Obama wants to raise the minimum wage. I'm all for raising the minimum wage. These people at McDonald's, they can't afford $7 an hour flipping burgers or whatever, right? Or they're going to be stuck in poverty. The problem with raising the minimum wage, if you raise the burger flippers to $10, your burger that they're flipping goes from the dollar menu to like $5. It goes from $1 to $5 because it's all about the profit, you know. And the thing here's a couple things that I want to say real quick. It's like you can't, because a business is about profit, you know. And I'm no economist here. And if there is an economist out there listening that wants to call in, give us a ring, 810-208-1854. That's 810-208-1854. Give us a shout out. But I don't, the problem is that when you're paying $10 for somebody, everything goes up. The cost of everything. Because I don't want to be paying $5 for a $1 burger, if that makes sense. You know, if people are following me here. Because it's all about profit. And the thing is, you know, there was somebody that said something really good the other day. They were talking about how I forget. John, what were you going to say? You were going to say something. I totally forget what I was talking about.
You know what I think is really bizarre is in this country, you allow a person like Obama to speak so like vigorously and everybody listens so attentively about business. This man's never done anything other than make speeches and be a community organizer. So he has no knowledge of what it takes to run a business. He's got his advisors, but do you think they're going to actually tell him, who are from the business community, you think they're actually going to say, you're screwing the pooch on this one? You think they're going to actually tell him that? Because no, he's the president, and he's a. And another thing is too, it seems to lack this understanding that there's no kind of bill you're going to put on, no kind of taxes or cost you're going to put on a business, and ultimately it's not going to be paid by the consumer anyway, because they just pass everything on to the consumer.
Yes.
They can't, and you can't make this bozo understand. These bozos understand that.
Hey. Watch your language, mister. I, for one, actually liked Bozo the Clown.
Yeah, but okay, he's entertaining, but you don't want him to do your taxes.
Yeah, well, that's an offense to Bozo, who I believe is dead, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah, there's like we had a Bozo locally. It's kind of a franchise.
Uh-huh.
You know, they basically lease the image and the ability for you to use his motifs and
like
stuff like that.
The Shrine Circus and stuff.
Well, Shrine Circus is different. Those guys come up with their own gigs. You know,
clowns
their own
is clowns, John. Clowns is clowns. They all.
Bozo's a unique one. He's got the sticking hair out the side, and
he's got a TV show. That is not the point, John. That is not the point.
We had a local Bozo show. I don't know if you knew that. Channel 12 had their own show.
Let's focus. Go back to what we're talking about, which is not Bozo the Clown. But if you want to call in to say how awesome Bozo is, 810-208-1854. It's 810-208-1854. I just made that up. I
was not going to come here. Just going to go out there, but he wants you to call it anyway. No, it's up on the screen, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
Is it?
It's scrolling.
Oh, okay. Well, make sure it's not on too long though. Sporadic. It's just the state of the. minimum wage, I think, is not a good thing. Well, I think it's a good thing because raising it to $10 is too much. I think maybe a compromise of like $8.50 or $9.15. But $10 is just, it's going to hurt the consumer, is what I think. Another thing, so anyways, just a lot of stuff has happened, and I really want to be, the show is, and I'll just make a plea here, people. The show, it is difficult to communicate with everyone when no one wants to communicate with you. So someone should probably, in the future, I would appreciate people calling in, voicing their opinions, because this show is not about me or John or anyone individually. It is about you as a community. And I cannot stress enough how much we value your opinion, because that's, in radio, that's all it is. Radio is opinions, opinions here and there. So sometimes you may agree with them, sometimes you may not, but it's a give and take. And so I strongly encourage everyone next time to call in and let me know what you think. Put our phone number in your speed dial. And so with that, I mean, that's pretty much all I've got going today. I didn't have much. I wanted to talk about the State of the Union and how disappointed I was with it. I wanted to talk about minimum wage, which we talked about. And I wanted to talk about the snow, which we talked about. So I think we went through everything, and hopefully I want to, here we go. So remember, I appreciate you and I appreciate your opinions. I might not agree with them, but they are what they are, Here it is, FlintTalkRadio.com. That was not me who sang that, by the way. But you should definitely call in next week, or at least listen. And remember, I want to talk to you, America. Hopefully you want to talk to me too. Tune in next week for some more Let's Talk with Jason B. and see where we go. Thanks for listening.